Yemen and Sudan have rejected U.S. plans to have Marines protect their American diplomatic interests after a wave of violent protest on Friday targeting Western embassies. In the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, at least 3 people were killed in clashes targeting the embassies of the United States, German and British embassies. In Yemen, 4 people were killed outside the American embassy in Sanaa. Jane Ferguson is in Sanaa and is on the line with us now. And Jane, I don't quite get this statement from the parliament. The Marines in question are already in country. Is this for local consumption?
It could very well be. It could be politically motivated. It is for opposition to President Hadi, for any of his opponents, it is a strong weapon against him to say to the public, well, you know, look, he's invited American soldiers in here. It could also simply be symbolic. People wanting to put their hand up and say, we would like it on the record that we don't support this. And it's also worth pointing out that the Yemeni parliament did make this statement. It doesn't necessarily mean that Yemen itself or the Yemen administration has rejected this. Hadi has not rejected the presence of the U.S. Marines in the embassy. And in fact, this, of course, comes against a backdrop of Hadi being very, very closely associated with the U.S.'s counterterrorism efforts in the country and increased drone strikes in the south and southeast of the country. So it could be a small dig at him from any opponents, but it's more likely to be a symbolic statement saying we don't really support this. We don't like the idea of it as a foreign presence, even if it is just a few dozen soldiers in an embassy.
Okay, Jane Ferguson for us. Jane, good to talk to you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's get to Harriet Martin now. Harriet is in the Sudanese capital of Khartoum. And Harriet, again, I guess it's sort of the same question. The Marines, we know, are already in Sudan at the embassy. Are we talking about we're clearly talking about a new group, but why object to more after what we saw there on Friday?
Well, I think for 2 reasons. I mean, number one, the Sudanese government has made it clear over this issue that it feels it's quite able to carry out its duty and protect US embassy staff, as all international diplomatic staff, which it's obliged to under international conventions. And secondly, that the issue anyway for the Sudanese government of more foreign troops is on their soil is a very sensitive one. It's a question of sovereignty for them. And I think the message we've received this evening is very much, it's simply not necessary. We are quite capable of keeping your diplomatic staff secure.
And that's to be seen over the coming days. Harriet, appreciated Harriet Martin in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, for us. Tunisia's capital was among some 20 cities where mobs tried to storm consulate buildings on Friday. Medical officials say 4 people were killed and nearly 50 people injured in Tunis. An American school was also attacked. Police have since surrounded both compounds. Nazanin Mushiri has more now from Tunis.
Well, things are still tense here in Tunis. There is a heavy security presence, particularly around the American embassy. There are military vehicles there as well. There are a lot of questions being asked about how this security breach could have happened right in the heart of Tunis, in what is supposed to be one of the most secure parts of the city. Also, the American school, which was supposed to have been protected as well. I visited the school. It's been completely gutted and burnt, and it's still smouldering right now from the fire. Now, there have been some arrests made of people the police say were involved in the attack, and also the police have issued an arrest warrant for members of a section of the Salafist movement here in Tunis known as Ansar al-Sharia. Now, they are being blamed in large part for the protests. Now, the Tunisian government, the priority of the Tunisian government is really to bring calm to the city and not to let this impact on relations between Tunisia and America, which are vital for the economy here right now. But interestingly, the ruling party Ennahda issued a statement condemning what happened, but also asking for an international law which criminalises the incitement of hatred or violence against religious beliefs, basically talking about the video, the anti-Islamic video, and asking that without an international law, these kinds of demonstrations and protests in the Muslim world will happen again.